Hey everyone, so we're going to do our last video tutorial on how to apply foundation. I've posted videos on how to apply foundation using a stippling brush, which is the MAC 187 that I own, a sponge brush, and I use the Laura Mercier sponges, and the just a simple sort of flat foundation brush. So the last sort of technique that I use on a regular basis is just using my fingers. Your fingers is a really good tool to apply foundation. It helps to warm the product so it blends into your face a little bit more nicely. When you do apply foundation using your fingers, you want to make sure clearly that your fingers are clean. So we're going to get started with that. I'm going to use a new foundation that I've actually only used once. It's the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. And I picked up the color Classic Ivory, which is N2. I've heard a lot of really good things about this foundation. They do have a little thing that you can put up to your skin to help you match. So I've put a little bit of the foundation on my skin, and I'm just going to sort of dab it onto my finger. And before I did this, I've definitely applied some lotion and a primer. Now, I'm not religious about primer. I have really oily skin, and so I don't really feel that primer necessarily makes the foundation last longer. But I do feel that it smooths out your skin and sort of makes it easier to apply your foundation. Now I'm just kind of patting this over my face in all the different areas. And you could easily focus on one area at a time, but I like to sort of get it all over where I think I'm going to want to put the foundation and then start blending it in. You know, it's not rocket science, this. You really just need to sort of work it into your skin. Make sure that it's all blended in. Because you are using your fingers, you can kind of get into those little nooks and crannies that sometimes you have a little bit harder of a time with when you're using a brush. Make sure you blend it in really well. You could use both of your fingers. I'm just using one. I don't know why. It just is what I'm doing right now. I do have a little bit of lip gloss on, so I don't want to get too much into the lip area. Alright, so I think that it's blended in pretty well. I'm probably going to add a little bit more just to the neck area so it blends down my neck a little bit. Now I know you can't see this, but if I was going to go out, I want to make sure that the neck area was concealed. I don't like to go all over my neck, at least much more than here where my kind of collarbone ends, because I feel like then you're going to start to get the makeup to rub off on your clothes, especially if you wear a collared shirt. I don't like to go too far. I just would wear a foundation that more closely matches my skin tone. Now I do feel that this foundation is a little bit light for me. I do have really light skin, and it's not a problem. I'm going to add some powder anyways. So now I'm going to go in with a concealer, and I'm going to break protocol and actually use another drugstore product. And I have nothing against drugstore products. I have a lot of them. I'm just more wary of foundations because I never know what to pick for my skin tone. But I think I have discovered that my skin is pretty pink, so I want something that's a little bit more yellowy in color so that I can sort of cover that up a little better. So I'm going to use Maybelline's Mineral Power Natural Perfecting Concealer. I actually picked the color Ivory, which is light 2 to 3. They have sort of like a little system of colors. And I'm just going to apply this kind of to the areas where I might have a little bit of redness still. You definitely don't have to use multiple concealers. I look like a scary monster. And I'm just going to blend this in with my finger. I think my finger is definitely my most preferred method for blending in concealer. I just don't have a brush that I like well enough that blends in the concealer to what I think is acceptable for blending. So I'm just using my finger, lightly applying this. And I really do like this concealer. You don't have to use expensive brands in order to find good concealer. Maybelline actually has a lot of really nice products that I like. Their mascaras are fantastic. I'm wearing a Maybelline lipstick with a little bit of L'Oreal concealer over it. Okay, and one more spot. We don't want to miss that. Alright, so I have put on foundation and I've got some concealer. I really like this concealer. I'm going to use MAC's Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in medium. I actually don't have another powder other than Laura Mercier's loose powder. I just really like this mineralized skin finish. I just haven't really got around to trying anything else. And I have so much makeup right now, I just really need to work through some of it, use some of it, so that I can have an excuse to go buy some more, because I can't keep spending all my money on makeup. Alright. So that's the powder. Now I'm going to use a different palette today. Oh, that's terrible. I had just bought this NARS palette the other day, and I dropped it, and I just lost a chunk of my Orgasm blush. How sad is that? And I'm actually going to apply a little bit of bronzer just because I'm feeling like I want a little more color. I'm going to use this same powder brush, and I've put it into the Laguna. I'm going to do the sort of classic 3. I think my hair is getting in the way a little bit. Okay. I feel like I've got a little bit more color now. And now I'm going to go in with my MAC 129 into Orgasm. Tap off any excess. I have a tendency to get a lot of blush on my brush, and then I end up with like scary blush cheeks. Now, if you were looking to get more like a sun-kissed glowy look, you could easily take a brush like this and go through both the Orgasm and the Laguna bronzer at the same time, and then do the same sort of application with the 3, and you get a little bit pinker, sort of bronzy color, and it's a really nice color sometimes for either the summer, or it would be nice in the fall too, but I sometimes do like to have a little bit more pinkness to my skin. So that's basically the application of foundation using your fingers. You can easily just put the product on, one finger or both fingers at the same time. I kind of like to sort of splotch the product on to my face in the areas that I want to put foundation, and then sort of blend it in that way. I really like this L'Oreal True Match. This is the second time I've used it. It is, like I said, a little bit light, but I've sort of darkened my face a little bit with some powder and a little bit of bronzer. And I used my Orgasm blush from NARS and Laguna bronzer from NARS as well. It's definitely like my favorite bronzer. If you have any questions, please message me and I'll be happy to respond to you. If you want any more how-to videos, I'd be also happy to respond to those kinds of messages, because I think it's really helpful so that other people can learn about makeup, and sometimes I have a hard time thinking about questions that people are going to have about things. So I hope you have some fun with makeup and have a wonderful day.